All right, all right. I apologize for being a little late today. I hope you all are doing well. Come on in, and if when you come in, just go on in, sign in, so I know that you are there as we continue on in this first Monday in the month of July, the first month of January, the first Monday in the month of January. Come on, come on, come on. Come on in, and as we prepare to discuss the subject matter at hand. How you? Good evening, Daisy. How are you doing? So glad to have you on today. As you can see at the bottom, we were going to be talking about the awesome power of believing. The awesome power of believing. That's how we're going to start out our Manifest Monday in January. We're going to talk about the awesome power of believing. I think, we've been talking about boldness. We started talking about boldness on Sunday, and God moved mightily in the house, in the sanctuary. And I do believe that that is something that has to happen for us. We're going to have to be able to speak boldly in this season if we are going to be able to access what God has called for us to do. We're going to have to be able to speak to the things that is in front of us. How you doing, Tammy? And be able to tell the devil not today. We got to start learning that we have to be bold. But in order to do that, we as believers has to understand the awesome power of believing. We have to understand the awesome power of believing. I am convinced that this can be the best year of your life. 2025, I am convinced that 2025 can be the best year of your life. If you simply act on one principle, and what's that principle? What you believe is more important than what you have or who you are. Can I say that again? What you believe is more important than what you have or who you are. Okay, third time's a charm. What you believe is more important than what you have and who you are. I believe that this is going to be the best year of your life if you simply act on that one principle, which is what you believe is more important than what you have or who you are. Can you accept that? I just need to know, can you accept that? The most important matter in your life is not what is happening to you, but what is happening in you. Oh, come on, somebody. The most important thing that's happening in your life is not what's happening to you, but what is happening in you. The story, when we look, the story is told about a man on a train crew who was accidentally locked in a refrigerator cart. The rest of the crew did not notice that he was missing, and he went home, and they went home for the night. When the man realized he was locked in the box car, he began to bang on the door until his fists were bloody. He shouted for help until he was so hoarse that he was nearly speechless. I'll freeze to death before anybody finds me, he thought to himself. Panic seized his mind, and in the boxcar, he found a piece of a knife, and painfully he began carving a message onto the wood and floor. It's so cold, my body is getting numb. If I could just go to sleep, these might be my last word. The next morning, the man's body was discovered inside the locked refrigerated car. Every physical sign indicated that the man had frozen to death. Only one thing puzzled the investigator. The refrigerator unit on the box car was inoperative. Did you hear what I said? The refrigerator unit on the car was inoperative. It did not work. The temperature inside of the car did not fall below 55 degrees. It was not the outer cold, but an inner conviction that killed this poor man. Did you hear what I said? It was not the outer cold, but an inner conviction that killed the man. How you doing, Troy? He believed that he was in a refrigerated car. And because he was in a refrigerated car and he couldn't get out, he believed that he was going to die. He said, I'm going to die and no one's going to know that I'm in here. Remember, the Bible tells us that death and life is in the power of the tongue. So he started thinking to him. He believed. Talk about the awesome power of believing. He believed that he was going to freeze to death. When they found him, he was there the box did not work, the refrigerator was not on, and it can only got below 55 degrees, it would not have caused him to be frozen. But because he thought he was going to die, he did. And I need to talk to somebody today. You think you're in a refrigerated box car and that you're going to die. I'm gonna tell you right now, that refrigerator is not working and you will not. Somebody, and that's the Holy Ghost and God, is going to come and rescue you from that situation. But you have to believe that he's able to do so. You have to believe that he's able to do so. I wish I had some help up here on this StreamYard on today, that I believe I got some help. Not to you, but in, yeah, that's good right there. It's what you believe. That's right. It's what you believe. I shall live and not die and see the blessings of the Lord. I'm going to see what I'm supposed to see. I'm not going to check out of here early just because somebody tells me. I'm not going to check out of here early just because my health may have an issue. I'm not going to check out here early because I don't see things happening. I shall live and not die and see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. I shall not die, but I shall live, and I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. How you doing, Sean? And that's so good, Tamika. I believe I got some help. Yes, sir. Thank you for helping me up in here, because we need to believe that even when we're in a situation, that help is on the way. I know in those Western movies when the Indians are attacking the fort, or whatever, someone is attacking the fort and they're fighting, and the numbers against them is great. But then all of a sudden, in the dawn distance, they hear, and they understand that help is on the way, because they know that sound means that there's reinforcements coming your way. I know how to talk to somebody on today that reinforcements is coming your way. Reinforcements is already on the way. It looks like you're overwhelmed. It looks like you're not going to be able to make it, but I'm telling you right now that reinforcements are on the way. You're going to make it through this situation. All you got to do is have this awesome power of believing. You just got to believe. We talked about boldness, and we talked about having being good courage, and on Sunday, and we have to have a power of believing, because the greater one that's in you is greater than any circle. And how can we say that no weapon formed against me shall be able to prosper, and every tongue that raises in judgment I shall be able to come, because it is my heritage, if we don't operate with that belief. We have to believe that it's going to happen. What you believe is more important. Let me go back up here. Yes. What you believe is more important than what you have and who you are. You can be the richest man in the world, like Howard Hughes was, and be a recluse hidden away in dark and lonely hotel room, obsessed by the fear that terrify you, and you will not set free. He died rich, but he was terrified of something happening to him. You can be the most popular entertainer in the world, like Elvis Presley was at the time, and take 100 pills each day to ease the inner pain. You can make millions laugh like John Belushi did, but such an inner sadness that you will pump your veins full of deadly narcotics. What you believe is more important than who you are and what you have. And the importance of that statement cannot be exaggerated. I need you to hear me. The importance of that statement cannot be exaggerated. What statement is that? I'm going to keep saying it till you hear me. What you believe is more important than who you are and what you have. So what is the first thing? What you believe about yourself. What do you believe about yourself? One of the most perplexing diseases of our modern society, if we may call it a disease, is a symptom of what we call anorexia nervosa. This awful disease affects mostly young women between the ages of 15 and 20. One of the most famous victims was also one of the most popular and talented singers of some decades ago, was Karen Carpenter. A young woman with anorexia believes quite simply that she is too fat. It makes no difference what her body size actually is. You can show her a picture of yourself as an show a picture of herself as emaciated, shriveled up piece of skin, and bones, looking very much like the victim of starvation in the pictures we see in Ethiopia, and she will still say, I'm fat. Can you imagine the grief and the anguish of family and friends as they seek to deal with this perverted, distorted self-conception? The reality of the situation is not nearly as important to the anorexic as what she believes that she is too fat. What you believe about yourself determines your destiny. Can I tell you that again? What you believe about yourself will determine your destiny. If you believe you can't do it, you won't. If you believe you can't accomplish it, you won't. If you believe it will never happen, it never will. What you believe about yourself is going to determine your destiny. What you believe about yourself is going to determine your destiny. One on a more positive note comes an illustration of the world basketball. Every basketball fan is familiar with the name Adolph Ruth, the late immortal coach of the Kentucky Wildcats. It is said that Adolph Ruth once made a boast at a news conference that he would take any young man and make an all-star basketball player out of him. A newsman challenged him on his boast, and they made a friendly wager. Rupert had at the time a blonde-haired, blue-eyed freshman player of somewhat average ability named Cotton Nash. From the day forward, Adolph Ruth became referred to Cotton Nash as my All-American center. Every news conference, every speaking engagement, it was my all-star center. Cotton Nash would be surprised if I could be, if you could, if I told you that Cotton Nash would be an all-star on the all-star team. Not once, but 3 times. Rupert made a believer out of the press, but more importantly, he made a believer out of Cotton Nash. What you believe about yourself, I need you to hear me. What you believe about yourself is more important. Excuse. It's more important. It's more important. Excuse me. Than what you believe about yourself is more important than who you are. What you believe about yourself is more important than your talent. What you believe about yourself is more important than your IQ. What you believe about yourself is more important than your skin color and or your social status. If you believe that you are a unique creation of God, it will become, if you believe that he created you to be a winner and not a loser, you can be a blessing to yourself and to others. Let me say that again. If you believe that you are a unique creation of God, if you believe that you're a unique creation of God, if you believe he created you to be a winner and not a loser, you can be a blessing to yourself and to others. Did you hear what I said? If you believe that God created you for purpose, on purpose for purpose. If you believe that God created you to be a winner and not a loser, if you believe that you were created in his image, and that if you believe those things, then you will be able to be a blessing not only to yourself, but you'll be able to be a blessing to others. I hope you hear me up here on today. So what you believe about yourself is as important as well as what you believe about your purpose for living. What you believe about yourself is important just as much as what you believe about yourself. I'm sorry. What you believe about your purpose for living. What you believe about your purpose for living. That's number 2. What you believe about your purpose for living. Charles Allen, in his book "You Are Never Alone," um, written in 1978, tells about a man named John Davis who was a farmer, and his self-styled, self-made man. Throughout his life, he had amassed considerable money, but no friends, nor was he close to his wife's family. They had approved of him, they had never approved of him, and he had nothing to do with them. When his wife died, Davis hired a sculptor to sculpt a beautiful sculpture in memory about a love seat he with two of them once sit rather at each end. David was so pleased with the completed work, he ordered another sculpture built this time of himself kneeling at her grave, placing a wreath around it. Again, he was delighted with the result, so he commissioned a third monument, this time showing her kneeling beside his grave, placing a wreath upon it. Since she was already dead, he had the sculptor place a picture of wings on her shoulder. One idea led to another until he had spent over $250,000 on a series of monuments. Each monument, each time someone from the town would suggest that he might want to contribute the money to the need of the community, John Davis would say with scowl, "What is the community ever done for me? I owe I don't owe this town anything." He died at 92 years old in the poorhouse. Only one person seemingly gradually saddened by his passing. He was Horace England, the tombstone salesman. All that is left behind in the ground in a cemetery near Lincoln, Kansas. Victims of time, vandalism, neglect, mute testimonies to the poverty of values of a self-made man who never understood true meaning of life. Have you ever sat down and thought about the meaning of your life? God has richly blessed most of us. Are we making our gift back to life? God has blessed most of us. Are we making our gift back to life, or are we simply building idle monuments of no use to anyone after we're gone? Are we making our gift back to life? Or are we simply building idle monuments of no use to anybody after we're gone? What we believe about ourselves, what we believe about our purpose for living are both crucial and important. What we believe about ourselves and what we believe about our future are both crucial to our and is important, crucially important. This is the last one, and I'll pick up the next two next week for tonight. Number three would be what we believe about others. What we believe about others. We started off talking about um, what we believe about ourselves, and then we talked about what we believe about our purpose for living. And now I want to talk to you about what we believe about others. A lot of us are working hard at living long these days, noted the writer, exercising regular, eating well, trying to cut back on bad habits, all and it's all great because it's working. But there's evidence that something else could help us live longer. Something very easy to do. What are you talking about, Bishop? Love and health go hand in hand. It is not just a moral mandate, it's a physiological one. James Lynch, the author of Broken Heart. If you want to really help yourself and help, if you really want to, what you believe about others and how you can help yourself is to love and health. That those two things are questioned. The mandate is to love your neighbor as yourself. That is not a moral mandate. That is a physiological one. Research from the University of California at Berkeley found several years ago that socially isolated people were more susceptible to illness and had death rates about 2 times higher than people who lived social lives were richer. But perhaps the most intriguing study was done recently by psychologists at Harvard. Measurements were made of a germ, fighting substance in the saliva of people, saliva rather, of people, saliva, I'm sorry, of people before and after they watched various films. A Nazi warfare movie, a short film on Gordon, and a documentary on Mother Teresa, the nun whose charitable works earned her a Nobel Prize. Without a doubt, the film on Mother Teresa was the kindest to viewers' immune system. Levels of immune agents, especially effective in fighting colds and other viruses, rose sharply in response to the Mother Teresa film, which was no change, while no change occurred in response to the other movies. It seems sometimes deeply inside ourselves responds it seems something rather deeply inside ourselves responds positively when we feel love. Love appears capable of sparkling healthy biological reaction. Dr. Roberts, a psychologist from California, said this. He thinks it may boil down to love's potential for being a great reducer of stress. Love is a great reducer of stress. When people have close relationships, they love less, they feel less threatened rather. When people have closer relationships, they feel less threatened, less alone, more confident and more in control. Knowing you have people you can turn to in times of need can provide some very important feelings of security, optimism, and hope. Knowing that you have people you can turn to in times of need can provide some very important feelings of security, optimism, and hope, all of which can be antidote to stress. When you have people you can depend on, when you have people that you can depend on, when you feel insecure, when you have people that you can feel on that can help you feel have optimism, when you have people that you have that can help you feel hopeful, it is a great antidote for stress. What we believe about ourselves, what we believe about our purpose for living, what we believe about others, but are very important. And next week, I'll talk to you about the most important key to a greater new year and a greater new life next time on next Monday. But I pray that you have been blessed on the night on the things that you said. I know there are other people that are on, and I am not able to see those. I see those. I know Tammy and Troy and Tammy and Troy were on. I know that Tamika was on. I can't see the rest of the people that may or may not have been on. Um, I'm trying to look and see because I don't want to miss anybody, but I'm probably going to. But these are the ones that I have seen that are on. If I didn't see your name, please forgive me. Charge it to my head and not my heart. Have a different device, so therefore I can't really see everything that I normally do. So I thank you very much for being with us on this, being with me rather on this Manifest Monday, the first Monday in 2025. I will see you next Monday. For those that are still wanting to, there's still time to sign up for the class Call to Lead. There's still time for that starting January the 10th, this Friday. It's $20. And I thank you, OJ. And I would look forward to seeing you there. Those who are signed up already, you will get a link on how to enter into the class, and we will have an awesome time. I'm looking forward to it. I see the people that have signed up. I'm looking forward to having an awesome time, not only of me telling and talking about Call to Lead, but having conversations with those who are on so that we can also build up rapport and also understand you think a leader is and how to be a good leader. So thank you so very much. I pray that you have been blessed. And it is in Jesus' name that I say thank you. Grace and peace be multiplied. Grace and peace be multiplied.